Joining us now on the Deseret First Credit Union hotline is the New York Daily News Jets beat writer. His name is DJ Bien-Aime. Welcome to BYU Sports Nation, DJ.
Thank you for having me in. This should be a lot of fun. Can't wait to talk some, Zach Wilson to the Jets.
Yes. It certainly is the number one topic across BYU Sports Nation and across a lot of the football world in some ways is the case of Zach Wilson. So let's just start here. Is Zach Wilson to the New York Jets with the second overall pick basically a done deal?
I mean, for the most part, it seems that's what it is. Adam Schefter texted Zach Wilson saying, welcome to New York. So I know, Adam wouldn't do that for no reason, even though, some of the Jets representatives that are at Justin Fields pro day today, second pro day today. But from everything that I've heard, everything I've read, it seems like it's basically a done deal. I mean, Steve Young basically said they've been recruiting a family. And then when we asked Joe Douglas about it, he didn't deny it. I mean, when he asked a follow-up question, he was just like, no, not really. But when we first asked him, he said, well, Steve Young's pretty plugged into the program. If you really want to deny that, you're not going to say Steve Young's plugged into the program. So, from everything that I've read and everything I've seen, you know what I'm saying, it seems like it's a done deal.
We have a weekly conversation with Zach, and so we asked Zach, and this hasn't aired yet. I think it'll air tomorrow or Friday. Are you expecting to be a Jet? And he said, well, who knows? Trades can happen. You never know what happens on draft day or whatever. So he didn't say yeah, but I think that's probably a good political answer. What are Jets fans discussing around Zach? Are they stoked? Are they hesitant? How are they feeling about this?
So from what I've seen on Twitter and from just Jet fans I've spoken to, it's like 65-35, 65 pro Zach Wilson, 35 pro Justin Fields. But overall, Jet fans are stoked for Zach Wilson. Missing out on Trevor Lawrence was kind of like a bummer for them, but now seeing Zach Wilson and seeing some of his highlights and seeing some of his throws and watching some of the film, Jets fans are like really, really, really excited for him. They've already tried to come up with some nicknames. I forgot one of the nicknames that they gave, but I told them try again because it was really, really bad. But they're like really, really excited about him. Like when I mean excited, I'm talking about excited. Like sometimes I have to really be careful what I tweet about Zach Wilson because I don't want a whole bunch of Jets fans attacking me because I may say something like, oh, I like this throw that Justin Fields made. And then someone, well, what about Zach Wilson? Well, what about this throw? I'm like, just take it easy. I like Zach too.
And if you flipped a coin at either guy, it feels like that'd be a great pick. Like Justin Fields proven it, obviously, in it's different competition, and there's always that conversation. But I think as we've gone over the years, you don't have to play at a big school to make an impact in the league. We've seen plenty of guys who didn't play in the SEC for national championships or whatever. The throws that Zach made and the development that he made this year, his ascension has been notable. When did he first get in on your radar? Because for us, it was like game 5 or 6 where we were like, oh my gosh, this is something special from Zach.
I think the Western Kentucky game where he made that throw where he's run up in the pocket and throws that dart down the field and the receiver drops it. I think that's when I was like, yo, who is this? And I started paying a little bit more attention, and then I had a feeling because the way he plays, it looks like Aaron Rodgers, it looks like Patrick Mahomes. So I already knew everybody wants a Patrick Mahomes, everybody wants an Aaron Rodgers. That by the time we got to the draft, there would be a really good shot he would go top 5. And then once the whispers about Justin Fields started to come out, some of those I don't really agree with, but I kind of know how the process goes. Once those whispers started to come out, once he had the the below average Northwestern game, and he didn't play great against Indiana. I knew Zach Wilson had a great shot to be the number 2 quarterback, and that's where we are right now.
New York Daily News Jets beat writer DJ Bien-Aime with us on BYU Sports Nation. You talked about the fan base reaction thus far. You say 65-35 pro Zach Wilson to Justin Fields. What's the overall reception been from the general consensus of the New York media to the idea of Zach Wilson being the next Jets quarterback?
To be honest, I think the only person in the media in my area that's I think leaning towards Justin Fields a little bit is probably me and maybe like a few other people. But for the most part, the media overall, we've all bought into Zach Wilson being the guy. And we all feel like he will do well because he's in a much better situation than compared to Darnold that he was dealing with. But overall, we've all bought into it, and we think that he's a phenomenal talent.
It was interesting to hear from Zach in our weekly conversation as we lead up to the draft. 6 weeks ago or something, Spencer, where we said, is there a team whose system fits you? And he said, Niners. So Mike LaFleur, passing game coordinator coming over, that feels like it's a fit. So what's the expectation in terms of kind of offense that's going to be run and system? Because that certainly matters. A dude's skill set is one thing, but that's got to fit together.
Oh, 110% agree. I've texted some NFL scouts, and majority of them have said that, Zach Wilson fits the offense a lot better than Justin Fields, just from some of the bootleg play action stuff that they're going to be doing, just for some of the throws that he'll be required to make, some of the screen passes. Well, I mean, obviously both can make the screen passes, but overall, play action, boots, intermediate throws, and obviously Zach Wilson can rip it down the field. And again, they're going to be in a run-heavy offense. Well, not run-heavy, but a run-centric offense where they're going to run the ball pretty effectively and then allow Zach Wilson to use his athleticism to make plays off of the boots, some of the intermediate throws, because that's a lot of things that I watched that Jimmy Garoppolo had to make, that Nick Mullins made, which allows their offense to be really, really dynamic in that aspect because they're always keeping the defense off balance. That's one thing that I really enjoy watching the Niners offense. It's just overall just the amount of misdirection and how they always seem ahead of the defense. And again, Mike LaFleur has been with Kyle Shanahan since 2014 because he was an intern with the Browns when Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator in 2014. And then obviously in 2016, he worked with him when, Matt Ryan had his great year. And then obviously they went over to San Fran and, you saw what the offense looked like with Jimmy Garoppolo when he was healthy. So overall, I really think that, Zach Wilson can crush it in this offense.
DJ Bien-Aime, Jets beat writer with us on BYU Sports Nation. Again, we're all kind of just projecting like 99% that Zach Wilson's going to be the next guy in New York. So with that in mind, what can the general manager, Joe Douglas, do in this year's draft to help Zach Wilson succeed? What pieces does he need around him?
Oh, so their offensive line, according to PFF, was rated 29th. So they have to improve the offensive line, have to get a better running game because the returners, none of the running backs had over 300 yards from last year. The leader was Frank Gore. And some of that was the Adam Gase offense, which was putrid and terrible. But, in this offense, the run attack will be heavily featured. So once they get I've thought about them getting Travis Etienne, maybe Javonte Williams or Michael Carter from, North Carolina. So those are some things that they have to do. The receiving core, believe it or not, I like it because, you have Denzel Mims, Corey Davis, who would have went over 1,000 yards last year had he not caught COVID. He was fourth in the NFL in play action yards behind the likes of Tyreek Hill, Calvin Ridley, and Stephon Diggs. So those are good names to be in the mix with. And, and he was in a really, really run-heavy offense that ran more than they passed, and he was still able to get almost 1,000 yards, and he was playing opposite side of A.J. Brown. So I feel like the receiving core, and they still have Jamison Crowder, who's a really, really good slot. So he's going to have good receiving weapons. So improved offensive line. I've thought about them getting Tevin Jenkins out of Oklahoma State or, going with a running back in the second round, but overall improving the offensive line. So maybe Creed Humphreys from Oklahoma or, the offensive lineman out of Notre Dame. I don't want to butcher his name. But but overall, improving the offensive line and improving the run game, because we all know a good offensive line, good run game is going to make the quarterback's life a lot easier. Going to give the receivers more time to throw. Give receivers more time to get open on the throws. So, those are some things that I think that they should look into.
Okay, with the rookie quarterback starting, and that's the expectation, of course, if you're taking the guy in the top five, what would be an acceptable win total for the Jets this year to the fan base?
acceptable. I think as long as they look competitive and Zach Wilson flashes, if he flashes game in and game out, I think they'll be, as long as they can win 4 to 5, maybe even 6 games. I think the fan base will be happy because Kyler Murray, his first year, the Cardinals didn't win that many games, but he looked really, really good.
Yeah.
He looked really dynamic, So, and Daniel Jones, even though people weren't really too high on that pick, he had a really good rookie year overall. So as long as he flashes and shows promise, because that's what Joe Burrow did in Cincinnati. They didn't win that many games, even though he got hurt. But in the games that he played, he looked really, really good. That's why, there was some talk about will the Dolphins move on from Tua Tagovailoa, because he had some highs against the Cardinals and against the Chiefs where he brought them back in the game in the fourth quarter. But then he also had some future performances against the Raiders and against the Broncos. So, and there was time where he just didn't flash as much. Granted, he was coming off an injury, but it's all about flashing as a rookie and showing promise, Granted, as long as he doesn't look like Jared Goff's rookie year, I think, the Jet fans overall, they'll be happy because Jet fans, they're pretty lenient when it comes to their rookie quarterbacks. As long as they show something. I mean, at one point, they loved Geno Smith and they loved Sam Darnold at first. It's by year 2 and 3, that's when they're going to want to see more. But that rookie year, as long as you flash and show that potential, which I know Zach Wilson will because of his arm talent and his ability to play off script, I really, I think the fan base will be patient and, enjoy, whatever Zach Wilson does as long as he shows promise, which he will.
DJ, great to talk with you, man. I'm sure we'll be doing it again soon, especially if Zach ends up in New York. We're going to need somebody to keep an eye on him out there. Thanks for the time.
No problem. Thank you for bringing me on.
You got it. New York Daily News Jets beat writer DJ Bien-Aime on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline. Deseret First, you know why, we show how.